when we get caught up in that spiral and we just kind of allow ourselves to be tumbled along with it, we're not present to our own lives. We're not experiencing our own lives. And it prevents us from doing what we're here to do. We don't know why humans exist. There's been lots of theories. The reality is you're here, I'm here. Anybody who's listening, you're here. Hey, yay. We're glad you're here. And what do you want to make out of the life that you have, regardless of what is happening? Hi there. Welcome to the Empowered and Embodied Show. I'm Kim Romain.
And I'm Louise Neil. We're two transformational coaches who are also fellow travelers on the path of growth and self-discovery. And we're inviting you along for the ride.
That's right. We're right here in the trenches with you, navigating the ups and downs of life. And each week we'll be sharing our own experiences, bringing you conversations with amazing guests, and exploring insights and strategies that have helped us find more clarity, confidence, and ease in our lives.
And trust us, we do not have it all figured out. We're learning and growing right alongside you.
So if you're ready to rise above the chaos, doubt, and confusion that sometimes life throws our way
and step into a more empowered and embodied version of yourself,
then you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Empowered and Embodied Show. I am here, as always, as one of your co-hosts, Kim Romain, joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host.
It's me. I'm Louise. Thanks, Kim. Thanks for that intro.
You're very welcome. When we jumped onto this recording, we did a quick little check-in just to see how we were doing, and neither of us are doing so well.
Yeah, I'm still tired. If you've been listening to any of these more recent episodes, I am dragging my ass through the day every day lately, and that's where I am. That's how I am showing up. But it's not stopping me from showing up. I'm still here for my clients. I'm still here for the listeners. I'm still here. It's just a different kind of energy I'm bringing into this space lately.
Yeah. Ass dragon energy.
Ass dragon. Yeah. How about you? Like, you're going through some stuff too.
Oh, man. I don't know if I could say fuck anymore in a day. I don't genuinely know if it's possible. Yeah, I've been apologizing a lot to my loved ones. My anger is off the hook. Like, I'm not angry. Did you just see my shoulders go up? Whew. Like, I'm not necessarily angry at anything they're doing. They breathe and I'm angry, but it's not because of them, right? I'm just holding so much anger. I haven't been like this in a really long time. And part of me is like, yeah, it's in the collective. It is thick and deep and feels like shit. Part of it also feels like, and I know we've talked about this in the past, part of it feels like, oh, maybe this is shifts in medication and it's opening stuff up that I didn't realize was there. Maybe I had been numb to it for a while. I don't know all the reasons. I just know that it's intense, the amount of anger that I'm holding right now. Yeah.
It's so interesting because I think you and we're going through like this midlife menopause journey thing, and where we are and what's going on in the world right now. It's like a shit show on top of a shit show with a cherry on top, right? And it's like,
I saw a meme the other day that said clearly nobody checked with all of these world events. Nobody checked in with the midlife women to see if this was okay, because this is not okay on top of everything we're going through.
it's just not. And it gets really hard to figure like this time in our lives, like this midlife stuff that's going on, it is hard enough to figure out what's going on inside of us. Cause right? Like nobody knows, right? Nope. Research doesn't know. Doctors don't know. Experts are questionable. There's a big question mark behind the word expert, if you ask me. But like, we don't know what's going on in our own bodies. And then to add on top of that, like what's going on in the world, that even doesn't make sense to me. I'm still trying to figure out what world events are like. What the fuck? And so it's just like a double whammy.
Yeah, quadruple, quintuple. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely getting smacked around from so many different multiple angles, and it's not fun. It's not fun. And it's not just us.
No.
The number of people in my groups and in my one-on-one conversations this week, it doesn't matter if it's working with a nonprofit leadership team or in one of my more spiritual groups, like it doesn't matter. Whoever I've been talking to this week, universally, the feeling is like this. It's almost a why bother? Should I do this thing now? What? It's like everybody's walking around with a giant what the fuck. Because I think that because it's true. Everything feels unstable. Sure, I could sit here and I could talk to you about all the reasons why energetically we're all feeling this way. I could talk from a cosmic level. I could talk from a philosophical level. I could talk from socioeconomic. Like I could talk about all the reasons. And at a certain point, those reasons don't make you feel any more, less. Don't make you feel any less. What the fuck? Make you feel more.
No. Yeah. We're not more better because we
No,
know
we're not.
why. Right.
No, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And I
mean,
love
so
a good
I
why.
think
I love a good why.
I was just gonna say, like, sometimes it does. Like, sometimes you're like, "Oh, why is this? Oh, that's why. Fine, check, move on. I can move forward because I have an answer or I have something." But I mean, we're talking about things right now that, like, we're not getting answers like today. We get more questions every time I go on the interweb and check things out, either around world events or what the heck's happening to my sleep or my hormones or anything else. I walk away with more questions than I do answers, right? I walk away with more like, what is the point? If I can't get answers, what's the point of even asking the questions? It
Uh,
feels very resigning, like, right? A big shrug.
And yeah, it's so interesting hearing you say that because I know I feel that in my body myself. I'm like, and that's part of my anger, right? Is I don't want to ask any more questions. I just want some clarity. I want some stability. I want some more ease, like all the things that my clients are always saying to me. And hearing you say it, I'm like, I get it, Louise. Yeah, I get it. And so how do you come back to center? How do you, when you're not feeling like you can catch your breath, catch a minute, catch a break? How do you return to your center? Not the center of the universe, but your center so that you can get through this without losing yourself.
Hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
I hear myself talking to myself too. Like I just want to own that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're great because we can come on here and say, like, hey, we got the answers. We don't have the answers
I'm in the middle
at
of it too.
all.
Yeah.
Right? We are all in the middle of it. I walk my dog. Like, sometimes you've heard her on the podcast here because she gets super excited when she can hear Kim's voice through the speaker, and sometimes she's like prancing around at my feet. But I love taking her for walks. And lately the weather's been, well, somewhat unpredictable, but the nicer days. It's super sunny, right? At the time of this recording, it is right early spring, question mark, late winter. And
It's false spring.
weather, the weather's I've been having some nice days. And what I noticed actually just the other day is that I take this walk kind of along the river, and oftentimes I'm walking with my head down. And I'm being very careful on where I step because it's like it's kind of snowpack, but like sometimes then there's extra snow, there's ice, and so I'm usually walking with my head down. And she's on her leash and she's sniffing her way to oblivion and having a great time. But I'm paying attention so that I don't fall or get hurt or step off the trail. And the other day, I heard some birds chirping. Hadn't heard them for a while. I don't know if they're back for spring or if it was just timing and coincidence. But I stopped, and I stopped and I was looking. I was looking for them, and I could hear them. And then I could hear the forest, right? I could hear like the trees. I could hear the breeze. I could hear like the snow crunching as roadies like sniffing away. I could actually just start to like hear what was going on. And I was like, have I been missing this the whole time? Have I been so focused on like just getting my walk done and just being so concerned that I don't want to fall that I've missed like this really cool thing? And it felt, when you said grounded, like I felt literally like my feet were like sinking into the snow. I felt like that no longer was holding me up, that I could actually connect with the earth beneath me. And it was just, it was like, it was grounding and then relieving at the same time. Like
Well, that's what grounding is.
it was just like this this weight I didn't even know that I was carrying. This weight just dissolved.
Yeah, that's what grounding is. People, right? There's a whole lot of stuff. What grounding is for me and why I teach it all the time is it is that opportunity to release, to set something down, to be supported. When I start my meditations, when I run guided meditations, I always ask people to notice how they're being supported, how their body is being held in that. Because no matter whether you're standing, whether you're sitting, whether you're lying down, however you choose to be in position with your body, you're being supported, you're being held. And so noticing that and then allowing yourself to be held further, right? Noticing how you can energetically sink into whatever you're sitting on, laying on, standing on. You can, because you can feel the softening of the muscles of the fascia, which then allows you to be received more by whatever is holding you, because we are always being held. And it's so easy. I started by talking about how angry I am. Well, when I'm that angry, I'm not feeling held. I'm not feeling nourished. I'm not feeling nurtured. I'm not feeling like I'm doing a tremendous amount of holding others and pouring out. And I love doing that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not angry about doing my work. And like I said, I'm not even angry with my family. Like they're not doing anything wrong. I'm constantly apologizing. But I'm holding so much that even though I do those grounding exercises multiple times a day, there's so much built up underneath that the 3 or 4 times I do it for 5 minutes a day isn't enough right now. And so understanding when we've reached capacity and what we need to start to bring ourselves back. I was not kidding the other day when I said to this, but he was like, what do you need? And I'm like, 3 weeks. He's like, no, really, what do you need? I'm like, 3 weeks. He said, what, 3 weeks of what? I said, 3 weeks of nothing. And by that, I mean no responsibilities, no decisions, nothing. I don't know if it would take me a full 3 weeks, but knowing that I had 3 weeks to be in where I could just be held by something, a chair, a blanket, I don't care what it is. I don't have to go anywhere, except for I do, because if I'm here,
Sure.
right? So where could I go? I still have to feed myself and bathe myself, like, or do I? Right? So I know for myself, I need to do something more than what I've been doing. And I know what I've been doing is more than what most people do.
Absolutely. Right? When you talk about like you're grounding or you're meditating for like 2, 3, 4 times a day, it's like I'm sleeping, I'm having micro naps every time I think I sit down to do that. It's like, I need a breath.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, oh my gosh, it's 10 minutes later. I just don't have the I don't have the capacity, which is weird. I don't have the capacity to find grounding. I didn't in that way, in a way that I'm used to. Right. And so it was really interesting to be out on this walk because I have to take Rhodey for a walk. Like there's no bones about it. She needs to go for a walk, all 10 pounds of her. And I was able to like connect it was probably not even a minute. It felt like an eternity, but it wasn't that long.
It's so cool.
There's
Yeah.
no way my dog's gonna like sit there and wait for me. No, she's gonna be pulling at me to get a move
Walk
on. But
patches.
it felt like forever. It felt like it was just, yeah, it was really, really cool.
Yeah. Patches just like he's old. He's so old. He just like standing there. His walks are like stands. That's what he's but see, he's reminding me to just slow the fuck down. Because when I take him out, like, if it were nice, I'd be like, yeah, let's take our time. If he didn't have mobility issues and owie feet and just want to rub all of the itchiness off of his face, like I just got him on new meds because we're working with the stuff. Yeah, that's part of what I'm dealing with, right? So going for a walk is not relaxing for me when I have him right now, which bums me out because it used to be one of those things. It was like, yeah, you and I can go forever and we can be in that moment. We can stop and we can sniff the grass. Well, he'll sniff the grass. I'm not sniffing the grass. But now it doesn't feel that way. So my little 5-minute micro breaks for myself, they're not outside in this moment. It's not on a walk. If I take him in the backyard, I definitely do have that moment where I let him run around the backyard and I'm just standing there. And as long as the construction folks aren't nearby, I can be in that place. Right. So it's you don't have to. I think the thing that people always think of too with meditation and grounding and all of this is like, I have to be set up. I have to be in a certain place, in a certain position. No, you don't. You can do it. You can do it while walking. It's about being totally present, slowing down, stopping. And to me, the gateway is noticing how you're being held, how the earth is holding you as you're on your feet, how the earth is holding you. Noticing the sounds around you, noticing the birds, noticing the sky, noticing what your skin feels like if there's sun, because it feels different in sun than it does in fog or in rain, right? Your skin feels different. So taking those moments to just be, they can happen anywhere. And so, yeah, when I'm saying I'm doing it, 3, 4 times a day, I'm taking 5 minutes to just be. Sometimes it's not the most glorious way to do it, but I'm just being. And I'm practicing just being because I'm too wrapped up in what's going on, which is what makes me angry.
Is being the antidote to what the fuck?
I love that question. Yeah. I think being's the antidote to a lot of things. And you said that, and like my sacral went, fuck yeah. 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 Because now the cognition is coming in about what I had that visceral reaction for. Yes, because when we're in that what the fuck moment, we're trying to figure shit out. We're trying to solve something. We're trying to get an answer to something, right? We're Googling something. We're, whatever. We're trying to find an answer. We're even in conversation trying to find an answer. But when we're just being, we're not solving for anything. That's just not there. It's not in the equation. And it's in those moments that we can solve things because we are able to not be, this is not a clinical term. I probably have it somewhere, but it's not coming forward. We're not cognitively overprocessing, right? We sit here when we get in that what the fuck, everything is going on inside of us. We're feeling the anxiety. We're feeling the pressure. And so we keep pushing through. We keep trying to find the answer we're in that, even if we're not actively doing it, we're feeling kind of foggy and frozen. And it's like, how the fuck do I find my way out? And we can't move versus just being, and you don't need to move. And that's when things can drop in. And we can find a little tiny, tiny pinhole of clarity.
Like it's a big change, but it's like such a subtle shift, really, right? Like, because when we're in that WTF energy, it's like literally like we got our hands in the air and you're like, what is going on? And we're usually not moving. Like we're usually, right? Like we're usually like, we're there, but we're not there. Like, so, right. Like cognitively, we're not there. We just need to reframe right? How do we reframe like a what the fuck to be like a big sigh or a release? Because often like it can look the same, but it feels so different.
It looks the same?
Yeah. 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 Cause it's like, cause we're stuck, right? Like, cause we're not moving,
Oh, yeah,
right? Like
yeah, yeah.
it looks the same, right? Cause what we're asking or what we're saying is like, how do we just take that moment to not push, to not move? We don't have to do anything. We just have to be here. And I think like these what the fuck moments is we don't know what to do. Right. But we don't have to know.
That's the big misnomer of the world is you have to know anything, right? And I feel like we're always saying you have to find the answer. You have to know the answer. You have to know these things ahead of time. When we're not taught 98% of the stuff that we do as adults. We have to figure that shit out. Most of what I do in the day, talking to my 16-year-old, and I get this, I bet you get this with your kiddo too. It's like most of the things I do in the day, I was not taught in school. I was not taught in any school. Nobody, no mentor came along and was like, oh yeah, this is what you do. I've been given tools and tips and tricks and whatever over the years. Had plenty of gurus telling me this is how you do something. But for me and for the way that I run my business, the way that I show up in the world, the way that I'm in relationship with others, nobody taught me how to do that. I had to figure it out for myself. And so we've always been in what the fuck. So why does it feel so much more intense right now? Is it because of all the what the fucks?
Just a big collection of them all.
Yeah.
And so what's important about knowing why? Like, do we need to know why?
Yeah. So do we need to? I don't think we need to. I think it can be helpful in certain instances. So I love 7 whys, right? Ask yourself why 7 times until you get to that root thing. I love it because it gets us past, I love asking why in that context because it gets us past wherever we're stuck, wherever we're circling, right? I can't do X, Y, and Z. Why? Well, because so and so told me so. Well, why? Well, because societally we're not supposed to. Well, why? Well, because, and right, you can keep going down and then you unearth this nugget of that's a really deep belief or that's a really deep understanding of the world around me. And now I get to choose. Do I want to continue to believe that nugget that's sitting there so deeply ingrained in me? Or do I want to begin to build something different for myself? That's how I like to use why. In these clusterfuck of times, I don't know how much why is helpful in terms of why are they behaving that way? Why have they chosen this strategy? Why have they I don't know that why is super helpful. You could drive yourself nuts with that. It's that place of understanding that that's not an alignment for you. Or it is an alignment for you. I don't know, however you are in the world. But if I think that's enough to know is understanding they are making decisions that I disagree with or and I'm here talking about kind of more the geopolitical stuff or government things, but even within businesses, working with a client, talking with the executive director, there's a individual on her team, member of the leadership team, that it has been wildly misbehaving. And this person also has a lot of medical issues that are tied into actually the type of service, type of support this organization gives. So there's a little bit of understanding. It's like we're treating our members, our participants in a certain way. I don't want to use the same respect with our staff who are dealing with the same issues, being in integrity. And this individual is wildly behaving badly. And the executive director feels stuck in making a decision and wants to know why he's making the choices that he's making. Why is he behaving the way that what? And I said, well, what difference does it make? He has this diagnosis, this is his behavior and you know how that behavior is affecting his work and how that's affecting the remaining people in the staff. What do you want to do with that information? And the thought that she keeps coming back to is there has to be a right answer. I'm like, there isn't. Why is it going to help you here? You have to step back and as a leader, look at where am I in integrity? What is in alignment for me and for the organization to do in this moment? And that's going to be different from this moment to the next moment to the next moment. But that's the hard work to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also like when we think of self leadership, like those are the same things that go on inside us too, right? We can get stuck in like, yeah, why would they do that? Why is that happening? Right. And even in my own health, like, why doesn't anybody have the answers? Why can't somebody tell me what's going on? Why can't I find any answers? And so this is all this stuff that's outside of us. Right. And I think that can be like I've lost the word. It can be the wick, right, for the ignition. It can be that can be what sets us off because it's so many whys and no answers, and no answers that will help us, right? And so it is about reframing to say like, okay, so if I don't have an answer, what else?
Yeah. Yeah. What else? And how do I know that I can trust that? That's so tricky because the stuckness, the what the fuckness comes from not trusting ourself, others, right? Both, either. It's the if we're not trusting, how do we make a choice? How do we make a decision on what step to take, even if we don't know what the right answer is? How do we do that?
Yeah. Right. Like, let's make sure we're using air quotes.
Air quotes for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Sticky, sticky place to be,
Hmm. Yeah.
finding the right answer.
There is no right answer. How many times in our lives outside of math class has there been a right answer?
It's redefining that because there is a more aligned answer for ourselves. Like we know when, like we even use that language, like what's right for me? What's right for me in this moment? And it's like, oh, well, what's this moment need? Right. And so we use that language internally, we use it externally, we use it all over the place. And really, what we're talking about is like, how do I know that there's alignment? How do I know there's less friction? How do I know that it's the thing that I'm going to do next that's in most alignment? But I'd be like, we've talked a lot about words here on the podcast, and it's like, I wonder how many times we're even saying that internally, right? What's the right thing to do? What's the right thing to say? What's this moment need right now? Like there's a lot of rights that go on. And I think that just starts to feed the fire when we're not getting the right answer from out there.
Yeah. I was thinking about the conversation I had with the vet this week, and I loved the way she framed it for me. She said, absolutely, for us to find the closest thing to a diagnosis would be to biopsy his mouth, my 14-year-old dog. And she said, now I, as the vet, who would not have to pay for it and who would know exactly that, yes, I would approve anything else that needed to be done because, again, I don't have to pay for it, would do that for my dog. I would not recommend doing that. She's like, you could do that. That's an option. But for you, I would recommend that we go this way because you're not going to necessarily get any more information than what we could do this other direction. It's faster. It's probably more painful to go the direction of doing the biopsy. But I loved how she framed that for me. She's like, there's a quote unquote right answer. Like we could find the quote unquote right answer if we did it this way, but you don't have to do it that way. Here's another option. There's an option that's less expensive. There's an option that's less painful. There's an option that has him in mind in terms of what is his comfort level given his age and his disposition. I have better conversations with my vet about making aligned decisions for his health than I can think about having for most of my practitioners. No, not all of them. I've had some that have been phenomenal, but they've all been in alternative medicine, definitely not Western medicine. And I think about that in our businesses too, right? If I go to somebody who has put themselves out there to have the right answer, I find I don't get what I need for myself and
Mhm.
for my business. What I get is more questions or pissed off because that's right where I go. I'm like, fuck you. But when I go to alternative spaces, and I don't just mean like healers or whatever, but when I go to a less mainstream way of thinking about business, I find I'm less concerned about finding the quote unquote right answer. And I'm more concerned or more aware of what works for me at this season of my business. It's the same thing though. It's right. It's not assuming we have to have the right answer or that there even is a right answer. for
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. This is so interesting because I just delivered a workshop in an organization around perimenopause in the workplace just the other day. And one of the participants asked me, and I have a disclaimer, right? I am not a healthcare practitioner, nor am I your healthcare practitioner, right? Like, make sure that you're talking to your healthcare practitioners about your care. And one of the topics that I talk around is about nutrition, about like, how are we caring for our bodies? And the question came up as around what are the right supplements that I should be taking at this time in my life? And and I said, I'm going to have a really shitty answer for you because it depends, right? It depends. It always depends. It depends on who you are. It's so individualized. I can't tell you. No one can tell you other than your doctor after doing an evaluation. Right? That's the only way that you're going to know what's most aligned for you. And what works today might not work 6 months from now. Because that's the season of our lives, unfortunately. It's constantly going to change. And
I think that's every part of our lives. I mean, the minute we're born to the minute we leave this earth, every minute is different, and every human is different, and every business is different, and every whatever is different.
yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's a spotlight shined on it right now.
Mm,
At this season, right? And you're right, but for a lot of folks, we can go through our lives like believing this is the way without having to constantly check in. I feel like in this season of my life, I'm constantly checking in because what worked yesterday doesn't work today. Versus earlier in my life, what worked last week doesn't work this week. Like the time period feels a lot different when I'm
yeah.
asking these questions, right? And it was so interesting because the participants in that workshop all started nodding their heads. And they're like, that's the best answer I've ever heard. Was it depends because there's no bullshit. There's no pretending that there's a right way. It's actually empowering to know that whatever you decide, however you come to that decision, that's right for you.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's scary. And it leads back to that, what the fuck? Right? Because we have this overwhelming number of things coming at us. All humans right now are experiencing some level of that's a lot of shit happening in the world right now. And again, cosmically, there's a lot of shit happening in the world right now. And I think it does give the spotlight to what we've needed to do as a species, which is to stop handing our power over to other people and start reclaiming our own power to truly be empowered from that place of saying, okay, nobody has that answer. Nobody has a definitive answer. So, what choices do I make with the information I have, with the resources I have, with the capacity I have? And that's going to be different for all of us on every single day. And it's going to be different for our businesses and the capacity of our businesses and our organizations and our teams and all of it, because it all comes back to each of us as individuals. And there's
Mhm.
billion or something of us in the world. So
Right.
how, right? Like that's 8 billion different ways of doing whatever the thing is and getting through
Mhm.
whatever the what the fuck is.
Yeah. And that comes back to trusting yourself, right? Stepping into your own power, believing that the next step is the next step for you. Period.
Well, and it doesn't have to be more than that, right?
That's right. And I think in these times too, like the craziness that is happening inside and outside of us, that's what it needs.
Yeah. Incremental, because we don't know what's going to fly at us next. Again, like you said, internally, externally, we literally, I have no fucking clue what's coming. And it doesn't mean I'm not
Right.
planning for the future. It doesn't mean that I'm
That's right.
not excited about the future. Like we can still have all of that and allow for all of that, while we also say in this moment, this is what I can do.
Mhm. Absolutely.
If that comes, that's great. I'll keep walking towards that thing, but that thing may not be there because it may be obliterated before I get there. And we want to be aware of that. And that can be scary. There's some part of me that feels like the world is a scary place right now. There's so much scariness going on. There's so many challenges on so many different levels, physical, economic, every level, spiritual, all of those levels. We're being attacked in many different ways. And it's not new for humans because we've been down this road before. We, as humans who are alive now, have not experienced this before. And it is an inflection point. I talk about this all the time, right? It is an inflection point, and it is different in our bodies, in our experiences now. And so I want to go back to that place of where can you create, whether it's a micro nap or a walk, whatever it is, that moment of just stopping, slowing down long enough so you can actually be present, because shit's going to just keep moving faster and faster and faster and faster. And we're not going to be able to impact it if we don't slow down long enough to notice what's really happening.
Mm-hmm.
Not the why, but the what's really happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. How to not get caught up in all of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When we get caught up in that spiral and we just kind of allow ourselves to be tumbled along with it, we're not present to our own lives. We're not experiencing our own lives. And it prevents us from doing what we're here to do, right? We don't know why humans exist. We have no idea. Like, there's been lots of theories in terms of why humans are here, why Earth is here, like, right? Big whys again. Those are fun to play with. The reality is, you're here, I'm here. Anybody who's listening, you're here. Hey, yay. We're glad you're here. And what do you want to make out of the life that you have, regardless of what is happening? I'm not going to sit here and say we can all, be whatever we want to be, because we have all of these systems and structures and oppression that presses in on us. So it's not that I don't want to throw glitter on poop. I don't want to be irrational here. And at the same time, internally, how do you want to show up in the world? What do you want to be experiencing with whatever capacity you have? Because that 199 conversations we've had, we changed the name of our podcast to the Empowered and Embodied Show for a reason. Because we're talking about coming back to self and owning what you're here to own in this lifetime. And right now, with the shit hitting the fan all over the world and feeling dis-ease in every moment, the exhaustion, the anger, all of it that so many of us are experiencing, we still get to live our lives. And it's really easy to lose track of that. And so, yeah, I feel like that whirlwind, the minute we can notice that it's actually happening and we can step out, like, give us a moment to step outside of it. That's what those little 5 minutes do during the day. Even when it's not enough, it's still something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like getting off of autopilot, right? And I
Yes.
love what you said because I say it all the time. We give our power away so much to autopilot, to opportunity, to world events, to, right? Sometimes we even give our power away to our emotions, right? And so how are we coming back to ourselves so that we are being ourselves instead of doing? I love that because it's like I feel like I'm gonna go on a why hiatus. Like I'm not gonna ask why for the weekend. I'm gonna say why is this or why is that or right. I'm gonna come up with a better question than why. Maybe I go off the Google and the chat. And so there's two now because it's
Yeah.
not just the Google verse that gives answers to me. My chatbot's pretty quick to answer any question I have. Maybe it's a yeah. Maybe it's finding different questions to ask other than why. Why is this? It doesn't matter so much. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Excited to hear how that experiment goes. Yeah.
Love to
I'm
experiment.
see if I can carve out a little bit of more grounded time where I am just noticing the seat beneath me, where I'm just feeling that and just present to what's around me. I'm moving really fast right now in my own world. And I know that's where the anger is coming from because I do get really angry, even though I'm somebody who can move fast, maybe not physically all the time. But I can move fast. I definitely want the ability to slow down.
That's a fantastic, I think, wrap up to this conversation today, Kim, is really about, right? It's the name of our podcast. We talked about it today. How do we be more empowered and how do we embody that empowerment? It's a beautiful footnote to today.
I
Thanks for
know.
this conversation. I think it's exactly what I needed.
I'm so glad. I know for me, I definitely am. Today, I've probably said less fucks than I've said all week. I feel that grounding just in this conversation today. So thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
And thank you, listener, for coming along for the ride.
Take care, everyone.
Bye for now. And that's all for this week's episode of the Empowered and Embodied Show. We hope today's episode has sparked something within you. Remember, we're all on this journey together. If something did resonate with you today, why not share it with a friend who might need to hear it too? You can find us everywhere you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling generous, leave a review. Your feedback not only helps others find the show, but also helps us understand what's most valuable to you. Until next time, be kind to yourself, stay curious, and remember, we're walking right alongside you. Thanks for being part of our community.